Yes, good morning, students. Let's continue our chapter number 1 of civics on equality. This is the last portion of our chapter. So, yesterday we discussed some efforts by our Indian government to implement the equality in our country. The government made some laws and implemented some schemes to prevail the equality all over in India, right? So here we will discuss some of the schemes that has been started by the government of India to prevail the equality in the country, right? So first scheme is known as midday meal scheme. What is it? This refers to the program introduced in all government elementary schools to provide children with cooked lunch. This program started because most of the poor people did not send their wards in the school just because due to the lack of food, because they thought if the children will go to the school, who will earn and how we will able to feed our wards. So that's why they never send their children to the school. So the government started this program to provide the food, even the nutritious food to the children, so that the poor people also can also send their children into the school. So this refers to the program introduced in all government elementary schools. Means this program has been started in all the government schools up to 8th, and the children are provided the cooked lunch. Tamil Nadu was the first state in India to introduce this scheme. This scheme was started firstly in Tamil Nadu, and after 2001 or in 2001, the Supreme Court asked all state governments to begin this program in their school within 6 months. Now this program is continuing in all the government schools throughout India, right? So this is the midday meal scheme. In this picture you can see the lady which is providing the cooked lunch to the students. This is a picture of Uttarakhand, and the lady is providing the lunch to the students, right? So this program has been started all over India. Now you are able to understand the what is the meaning of midday meal. Midday means in the middle of the day, means noon, right? Then it means lunch. Midday meal. Meal means food. So the food which is provided in the midday, means in the noon, that is known as midday meal. And this scheme has been started by the government of India. What was the positive effect of the scheme? So there are some of positive effects by implementing the scheme throughout the India. First is more enrollment. As I told you, most of the poor people reluctant their children to send the school just because they are poor and could not afford the food for their wards. So when this scheme started, they their children has been provided by the food. They are food had been provided them, and this increased the enrollment of children in the school. So more poor children have begun enrolling and regularly attending school, because now uh, they do not have any bother for their food now. Second, improve the attendance. Teachers reported that earlier children would often go home for lunch. and then not return to school. But now with the midday meal being provided in school, their attendance has improved, because now they do not need to go home for the lunch, and they have to stay in the school. The lunch has been provided in the school, so this increase the attendance of the school, attendance of the students throughout the day. Third, no interruption. Their mothers who earlier had to interrupt their work to feed their children at home during the day now no longer need to do so, because some of the mothers went to the school and bring their ward to home to provide the lunch to them. But this caused interruption in their studies as well as in their attendance. Now this has been removed, and no interruption in their study now. Fourth is reduce caste prejudice. This program has also helped reduce caste prejudice, because children of all castes in the school eat this meal together. In the last picture, you saw that all the students were sitting together irrespective of any caste, and the lady was providing the meal to all the students. So this reduce the caste prejudice. This reduce the caste inequalities in the school also, right? Next is provide employment. In quite a few places, Dalit women have been employed to cook the meal. Now there is a need of persons who can cook the meal for the student. So employment is also generated in the schools to cook the food. It means cook requirement is also there, and this requirement is fulfilled by the women of Dalit section. So it provide the employment to that woman also. Next, last, reduce the hunger. No doubt, if each and every children will get the food, it will reduce the hunger. In the last lecture, I show you a pic that was sustainable development goal. That was a zero hunger. So to provide, to achieve that goal, the government started this program so that each and every children access to food. So it helps to reduce the hunger among the poor community. The midday meal program also helps reduce the hunger of poor students who often come to school and cannot concentrate because their stomachs are empty. If you are hungry, you will not able to concentrate on your study. It is implemented to each and every human beings. है ना? There is a proverb that खाली पेट भजन ना हुई, right? So that is implemented to all of us. We all are human beings. We can't do any work with empty stomach. So this also helps students to concentrate on their study, right? So these are some of the positive effects of the midday meal scheme which is implemented by our government of India throughout the country, right? There are some negative aspects of this scheme is also, because government has started many more schemes in the country, no doubt, to achieve its goal, but these schemes are implemented, not implemented fully, just because of some of the attitude of the people. They are lacking, and some corruption are there. That's why these schemes are not fully implemented, and the deserving candidate or deserving people are failed to achieve any help from the side of government, right? So there are some drawbacks behind it. What are these? First, while the midday meal program has helped increase the enrollment, no doubt, and attendance of poor children in school, there continues to be big differences in our country between schools that the rich attend and those that the poor attend. No doubt enrollment and attendance has been improved due to this scheme, but this attendance has some differences between the schools of rich people and the schools having poor students, right? Second, even today there are several schools in the country in which Dalit children like Om Prakash Valmiki are discriminated against and treated unequally. Here you can see, for example, some of the houses where the housemaid comes, some people talk them with respect, right? And still there are some landlord ladies or employers are there who treated their staffs or servants very badly, right? So there is still there is differences. These differences are due to the attitude of the people. So there are still some schools which are discriminated right now. These children are forced into unequal situations in which their dignity is not respected. We saw this in Om Prakash Valmiki's case, that the children have to sweep the school and the playground, and he is not able to study in the school because he had to sweep the school. So this type of situation has to face some of the children or some of the poor people in the school also. This is because people refuse to think of them as equal even though the law requires it. Because what our law says, that everyone is equal before the law, no one can be discriminated, um, irrespective of any caste, religion, sex, etc. But some of them have stereotype ideology and they refuse to treat them equally. They still consider them as inferior. Right? So these are some drawbacks to implement the schemes fully. Now here is a statement of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. B.R. Ambedkar, who is the founder of our Indian Constitution and do a lot of work for the untouchables. He belongs to the untouchable community and do a lot of struggle to remove the untouchability from our country. So there is a statement of B.R. Ambedkar. It is disgraceful to live at the cost of one's self-respect. Self-respect is the most vital factor in life, no doubt. Without it, man is a safer. To live worthily with real self-respect, one has to overcome difficulties. It is out of hard and ceaseless struggle alone that one deserves strength, confidence, and recognition. If we want our own recognition, then we have to struggle. We have to fight against this discrimination. And this means a lot of struggle, lot of strength, and lot of confidence. So being a creeper, it is better than we have to struggle for our right. Man is mortal. Everyone has to die someday or the other. But one must resolve to lay down one's life in enriching the noble ideals of self respect and in bettering one's human life. Nothing is more disgraceful for a brave man than to live life devoid of self respect. Without dignity, without self respect, there is no mean of human life. So, being a human, we deserve respect, we deserve dignity, and for this, we have to struggle. So, this is a message given by B.R. Ambedkar for the dignity and self respect, and according his ideology, he'll do a lot of work for the untouchable. Now these days we are the untouchables or SC BC caste getting 27% reservation in the government jobs or all the government institutes, etc. That is just because of the struggle of some people against this discrimination, right? Now, need to change the attitude. As I told you that some people have some stereotype ideology that all the peoples are not equal. There are four sections in our society and we can't make them equal. They saw some people as inferior, as a insect, or treated badly, ill treated them. So this type of attitude need to be changed. Well, if we don't change our attitude, these schemes, these law have no use. They can't be implemented fully. So first of all, people's participation, people's attitude is the most important to implement any law, any scheme. So we have to change the attitude of the persons. One of the main reasons for this is that attitude change very slowly, because any thinking, any change never comes in one day or in 1 hour or in 1 month. It takes time. It comes gradually. It wants struggle. It takes hard work. And by these struggle, by these revolution, by this hard work, it comes. No doubt it will come, but it will come gradually. Even though persons are aware that discrimination is against the law, they continue to treat people unequally on the basis of their caste, religion, disability, economic status, and because they are women. So we have learned some different ways of inequalities prevailing in our India. We have learned about the social equality, social inequality, sorry, caste system, religious discrimination, and many more. Even the discrimination between man and woman also. So everyone, every person must be aware about that. No doubt, some laws are there to provide to protect them, but the poor people can't afford to go to the court for their rights. That is uh, that is beneficial for the rich people who are treated them badly. It is only when people begin to believe that no one is inferior and that every person deserves to be treated with dignity that present attitudes can change. If the people will change their ideology, if they will saw all the people as same, as equal, only then equality can become in the country. Now, establishing equality in a democratic society is a continuous struggle. As I told you, this process takes time. Any change in our society comes gradually and it needs a continuous struggle. When we struggle for a continuous for an aim, we no doubt we will achieve it. Okay, if you are not able, for example, if you are not able to get 10 out of 10 in this exam, but if you will work hard, continue, no doubt you will improve your marks, you will improve your knowledge, right? Similarly, any change in human beings, in society comes, but it needs continuous struggle. Now question is whether India is the only democratic country in which there is inequality and where the struggle for equality continues to exist. No, many more countries of the world still facing this problem. Many more countries. Here is an example of one country, USA. The truth is that in many countries around the world, the issue of equality continues to be the key issue around which communities struggle. Here are some examples like Arabian countries. There is a discrimination between men and women, right? In South Africa, in South Africa, there was also the discrimination between the white and black. White is considered as the Britishers and black are the African people. Similarly, here is the example of USA. USA, the African American whose ancestors were slaves who were brought over from Africa continue to describe their lives today as largely unequal. What happened in the colonial rule? African peoples were forcibly bring to America to work in the plantation fields. So they are slaves, and they are treated discriminately. Now, what is civil rights movement? Sorry. Here we got the civil rights movement. This despite the fact that there was a movement in the late 1950s to push for equal rights for African Americans. African Americans are those peoples who worked in the plantation as a slave, and now they lived in American countries and known as African Americans. So this movement is done by the African Americans, or we can say black people, right? Prior to this, African Americans were treated extremely unequally in the United States and denied equality through law. Yeah, as in our country, there was a discrimination between the untouchables and the other section of the society. The Americans were facing this discrimination between the African Americans and the Americans. For example, when traveling by bus, they either had to sit at the back of the bus or get up from their seat whenever a white person wished to sit. When you traveled in a bus, for example, when you traveled in a bus, you have you choose your seat, and no one can impose you that to leave your seat just because he or she want to sit, right? Because there is equality. But what happened in America, if if any African American is traveling in the bus, they have to sit at the back. Or any if any white person enter in the bus and he or she want to sit, then African American people have to leave the seat. Now, one lady, Rosa Parks, was an African American woman. Tired from a long day at work, she refused to give up her seat on a bus to a white man on 1 December 1955. This is an incident from where the civil rights movement started. That was a lady, Rosa Parks. She was an African American woman. She was too tired from her work and she refused to leave her seat for a white American. Her refusal that day started a huge agitation against the unequal ways in which African Americans were treated, and which came to be known as the civil rights movement. And 1 December 1955 onwards, the African American people started agitation against the inequality prevailing in USA between African American and American pupils. And this movement is known as civil rights movement. So here we get the definition of civil rights movements. Note down: the struggle against the unequal ways in which African Americans were treated came to be known as the civil rights movement, right? Now, Civil Rights Act, which is implemented in USA in 1964, it prohibited discrimination on the basis of race, religion, or national origin. Now it is the result of civil rights movement. What was the result of civil rights movements? When the people began to struggle for their rights in the society, and the government awakened and they made an act that is known as Civil Rights Act. By this act, the discrimination is prohibited. It also stated that all schools would be open to African American children, and then that they would no longer have to attend separate schools specially set up for them. Unlike in India, untouchables have different schools and the other sections have different schools. Similarly, in America, African American children have different schools. But by this act, now all the schools were open to all. However, despite this, a majority of African Americans continue to be among the poorest in the country. Most African American children can only afford to attend government schools that have fewer facilities due to the lack of money they can afford to pay for education. Many African American children are highly qualified teachers who can provide education to The state shall not discriminate against any citizen on grounds only of religion, race, caste, sex, place of birth, or any of them. If we are discriminated, if our rights are violated, we can go to the court with irrespective of any religion, race, caste, sex, place, birth. We gave our petitions, and the court are forced to hear suffering and give a fair judgment, right? So no state or our country will not discriminate with any people on any basis. Second, no citizen shall, on grounds only of religion, race, caste, sex, place of birth, or any of them, be subjected to any disability, liability, restrictions, or conditions with regard to, due to any religion, race, caste, or sex, or place of birth. We can't prohibit any person to enter in any public places or any public institute, right? So it exists 2 points: access to shops, public restaurants, hotels, and places of public entertainment. We can't uh, we can't uh, prohibit any person to enter in these places right now due to any caste, race, or sex, etc. Second, the use of wells, tanks, bathing ghats, roads, and places of public resort maintained wholly or partially out of state funds or dedicated to the use of general public. If there are public places or the places which are under the government, we can't discriminate any people, we can't stop any people to use these public facilities, right? So this is the article 15, where first, no one can be discriminated on any basis. Second, every public places or every public institute will be open for all. Now, despite of all these, we have to face some challenges, and these are called challenge of democracy. As you know, despite of all these laws and schemes, still inequality is prevailing in India in different forms. So we have some challenges. How can we remove these from our country? And these are known as challenge of democracy. First, no country can be described as being completely democratic. There are always communities and individuals trying to expand the idea of democracy and push for a greater recognition of quality on existing as well as new issues. Because when we resolve one issue, the another issue raised. So we have to face a new challenge every day, and the government of each and every country try to remove these challenges or to overcome these challenges, right? Second, central to this is the struggle for the recognition of all persons as equal and for their dignity to be maintained. When we implement the law of equality, now the second question is how it can be maintained. No, um, it is not sufficient to write a law or write a scheme in the papers only. It must be implemented in our society also. That only then we can achieve the goal of equality in our country. Okay, now here we have completed our chapter. If you have any doubt regarding this chapter, you can ask now. If you have any query, any doubt, unmute yourself, beta, and ask. Akash sir, stop recording.